I'm glad that you have been able to join us for this weekend devotional. I've spent quite a bit of time this week looking at who one ought to be as a Christian. Now, how one ought to present themselves as one who has been given salvation in Christ. What should we look like to the world? I'll save a great deal of this for the Sunday morning lesson, but I want us to think about a couple of things. I came across a verse here a moment ago. In Psalms 4, 6 through 7. And we hear David, they at least attributed to David as the giving the statement or this piece of poetry. He said, "There are many who say, who will show us some good? Lift up the light of your face upon us, O Lord. You have put more joy in my heart than they have when their grain and their wine abound." We live in an agricultural community and we sort of understand this idea of when their grain and wine abound. This idea of when a crop is made and it is far beyond that which we could have imagined. There becomes a great feeling to a man when he has harvested his crop and he has made an abundance in that crop, knowing that over the next year he'll have what it takes. He says, "My joy is full because of God." More than all of those things. I want us to think about that for a minute. If we have that joy, if we really are looking, if we really are seeking to be that one that is a child of God, should we have that joy? What should be within us? I want us to listen to what Jesus says in John, the 15th chapter, verses 1 through 11. He said, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. And every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. Already you are clean because of the word that I have spoken to you. Abide in me, and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine. This idea of living in God, and as I live in God, letting him live in my heart. Neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. If anyone does not abide in me, he is thrown away like the branch. It withers, and the branches are gathered and thrown into the fire and burned. If you abide in my word, or if you abide in me and my words abide in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. I want us to understand that means if we're living, if we're seeking the will of God, if we're seeking for the will of God to be done. By this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit and so prove to be my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things I have spoken to you. I want you to hear this last part. These things I have spoken to you, that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be made full. This idea that if I abide in Christ, if I live in the word that God has set before me, if I seek to follow the Christ, I seek to do the will of God, I seek on a daily basis that those things that I need to remain in a situation doing for God, seeking for God, doing his will, he provides all things. But in doing those things and in seeking to show who God is, he finishes with this statement that my joy may be in you, that the joy of Christ might be inside of me. He says that, and that your joy may be made full. I need to really consider who I am and what it means to be full of joy. I can't always be happy because there are sad things that happen to each one of us. There are disappointing situations that come about. And yet, in all things, I can be joyful. I can exhibit Christ in my life. I want us to think about those things as we go about this weekend, maybe as we go about next week. We're going to speak a little bit deeper on this idea of giving ourselves over to God, of living our life for Him, and where that joy comes from, or how we exhibit ourselves in our lives. I hope that you will be with us Sunday morning. I hope that you have the ability to come and join us here at Dora. If you can't, try and catch the lesson on Sunday morning, and and seek to live in this joy that God provides for us. Thank you for being here this morning or today, and may God bless you.